Hi, my name is Van Kellenberger, and I'm here to talk about my grandpa, Dan Horner. My grandpa Dan was born at the Hudson Hospital on November 24, 1953. He was the first of 4 children in the family. The others were Kevin, Carter, and Peggy. The grandparents on his father's side are Bailey and Vera Horner. On his mother's side are Oliver and Borghild Rhodey. His grandparents lived on a farm near Inwood where they would spend part of their summer playing on machinery or in the barn or granary. He was 6 years old when he started school. He attended Hudson School from kindergarten until graduation. The extracurricular activities he was in were football, basketball, and band. His favorite subject was science. He would either walk or ride his bike to school every day. One of his favorite things to do at home were work on his erector and chemistry sets. One of his first jobs was a soda jerk at the drugstore in Hudson. He would order the candy, make the syrup for drinks, restock, and clean. They would sometimes be open after 11 p.m., mostly on Saturdays and also when it gets busy. When he was a freshman, there was one day aside from invitation. His classmates had to dress like this: blacken their noses, wear necklaces of raw onions, and the pail was for shoe polish, rags, and candy. When he and other students would meet a senior in the hall between classes, they'd have to polish their shoes, give them candy, take a bite out of one of their raw onions. He still does not like onions today. His first car was a Ford Maverick that cost about $5,000. Dan graduated high school in 1972, which was his favorite school memory. He attempted electronic communications at Mitchell Tech from 1972 to 1974. When he graduated from tech school, he began working at Sioux Falls 2A Radio. He's been there ever since. He quoted that, "You need an education in the field that you're going to begin, but you will learn a lot during your job that you didn't in school." During the end of his high school years and the beginning of college is when Dan met his to-be wife, Nancy. He had his motorcycle and worked at a drugstore. Nancy would come in after work and they would go on a motorcycle ride. They would go down the streets, out to the pit, up to North Woods. They fell in love and married on September 6th of 1974, right after Dan graduated college. They first lived at Cherry Tree Apartments in Sioux Falls for about a year and a half, until moving to the house they built in Harrisburg. They've lived there since 1977. They spent their honeymoon in the Black Hills at the cabin. They had their first child on July 9th of 1975, which they named Jamie, my mom. Then 4 years later, they had their second and last child. On September 19, 1978, Corey was born. Dan wanted to pass down to them integrity and honesty in dealing with other people. He always enjoyed watching his children grow up. The best trips they took as a family was traveling to Denver one year and many years of going to the Black Hills. On 9/11, Dan was given the chance to help. Motorola called him late that morning asking if he could get the mobile radio system trailer up and running and get it to Schaumburg, Illinois as soon as possible. It was needed in New York to provide communications for rescue workers. The next day, he got the system working and it was off to New York. Dan's favorite hobbies are collecting stamps, coins, bottles, clocks, model trains, old radios, and anything that is antique and looks nice. If he would ever teach something special to his grandchildren, he would teach faith in God, having a good ethic, and to be honest and trustworthy. As Dan looks back, the happiest things are marrying Nancy and the birth of his 2 children. Now Dan is a proud grandparent of 7 children, including me. He would not want to change anything about his life, because it was good as he ever wanted. He's the best grandpa I could ever have.